Welcome to Story Harbinger, where every story brings a new perspective to life. Let's dive into today's tale. The greatest victory is not in the battles we win, but in the strength to start over when all seems lost. In the kingdom of Valoria, there was a young prince named Adrian, beloved by his people for his wisdom and strength. But beneath the crown, Adrian felt trapped. His life was already written for him, a ruler to lead, a kingdom to protect. From the outside, he was everything a prince should be, but inside, Adrian was lost. His soul yearned for a purpose beyond the throne, a life that wasn't dictated by royal duties. For years, he tried to ignore the feeling that gnawed at him. But each day in the royal court, surrounded by advisors and soldiers, he felt the walls close in. I must become the king they want me to be, he often thought, though his heart ached for a life of freedom. Then, one fateful evening, a great trial befell the kingdom. Valoria is under threat, the royal messenger declared, rushing into the palace. A neighboring kingdom had invaded, and their army was marching toward Valoria's gates. Adrian's father, King Emery, called for his son. "It is time, Adrian. You must lead our men into battle." Adrian stood before his father, the weight of the crown heavy on his head. The kingdom's future depended on him, yet all Adrian wanted was a life of peace. He knew that to fulfill his duties as the heir, he must fight. He had trained for this moment all his life, but his heart was not in it. "Father, I cannot do this," Adrian said, his voice shaking. "This is not the life I want. I cannot lead our people into war when my soul yearns for something else." His father's eyes widened with shock. "What do you mean, Adrian?" King Emery asked, anger creeping into his voice. "You are the heir to the throne. The kingdom needs you." Adrian's heart pounded. He loved his people, but he could no longer bear the chains of duty. "I must leave," Adrian declared, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. "I must find my own path. I will not lead in fear or resentment." With that, Adrian walked away from the palace, leaving behind his title, his kingdom, and the life he had known. The journey was not easy. Alone in the wilderness, he faced harsh winters, loneliness, and doubt. He questioned whether he had made a mistake. But with each challenge, Adrian grew stronger. He found work in a humble village, where no one knew him as a prince. There, he learned the value of hard work, the beauty of simplicity, and the importance of listening to his heart. Months passed, and word of the prince's disappearance spread throughout the kingdom. Many believed he had abandoned them, and whispers of his cowardice filled the streets. How could he leave his people in their time of need? They asked. A true prince would never abandon his duty. But Adrian was not deterred. He worked as a blacksmith, forging tools for the villagers, and began to understand the strength it took to start anew. He learned that success wasn't about wealth or title, but about resilience, determination, and the courage to rise after every fall. One day, a messenger from Valoria arrived in the village, carrying a letter from King Emery. "Adrian," it read, "our kingdom is in peril. We need you. Return to Valoria and lead us, not as the prince you once were, but as the man you have become." Adrian stood silently, the letter trembling in his hands. His mind raced. His father was calling him back, but not as a prince. This time, he was being called as a man who had found his own way. Adrian knew that he had changed. He had found something far more valuable than a crown, the strength to follow his own path. He returned to Valoria, but this time, he was not the same young prince who had fled in search of peace. He had learned that true leadership wasn't about power. It was about understanding, resilience, and the courage to make difficult choices. When Adrian returned, the people were hesitant at first. They had heard the rumors of his desertion, but Adrian addressed them not as a prince, but as someone who had walked through fire and come out stronger. "I left because I needed to find who I truly was," he said. "I am not perfect, and I do not have all the answers, but I will lead with my heart, not my crown. And I will fight for you, not because I must, but because I choose to." His words resonated deeply with the people. They had seen their prince struggle, but now they saw a leader who understood their pain, their fears, and their dreams. Together, they faced the enemy, not with anger or hatred, but with courage and unity. And against all odds, they won. Adrian ruled Valoria with wisdom and compassion, and the kingdom prospered. But more than that, he had discovered the greatest truth of all. The power to start over is the power to shape your destiny. Moral, true leadership comes from within. The strength to start over, no matter the cost, is the key to finding your true purpose and living the life you were always meant to lead. Thank you for watching. For more inspiring and heartwarming stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Story Harbinger. See you in the next tale.